the favors of your Lord, Islam, climate change, and hope. And in this webinar, I want to give us a taste of the deep possibility, the deep, you could say, love letter that the climate change crisis is, written by Allah, by God, to us to come home. So let's start with the opening prayer, because the universe was created in sound. It's said that God said, I took the light from my face and I said, be the first light, be Muhammad, be the creation, kun. So everything we do in sound, especially sacred sound, has that same reverberation of creation. So just going to recite some short verses. They're similar to the Shema Yisrael, or the Lord's Prayer. It's called the Fatiha. Some of you may be familiar with it. Let's just take a breath and be aware that the oxygen that we're breathing in is the same oxygen that was breathed out by some plants and trees. And the carbon dioxide that we're breathing out when we breathe is breathed in by those beings like plants and trees that need carbon dioxide. So just take a breath, thanking ourselves for making it and getting here. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. And we may know that this chapter in the Quran, and every chapter except for one in the Quran, starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, in the name of God, the merciful and the compassionate. And in fact, everything we do can start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And as some of us may know, Rahman and Rahim come from the Arabic root word Rahama, which means womb. The place where we're safely contained, where we receive all of our nourishment, where we're protected, where we have a home. And Rahman is that mercy and generosity that comes to everyone, no matter who you are, whatever you believe, everything, race, gender, country, every being. It's the Rahman. It pours the generosity out, the sun that falls on all the fields. It's the gravity that hugs all of us to the earth's surface, and so on. And Rahim is the particular mercy that comes as a response to the cry in our heart for something, particularly the cry of the heart of someone who believes that Allah will give us what we cry for in some form or another. It's like the milk that comes to the mother's breast before the baby cries. Allah knows what each one of us needs in every moment. And so we start everything in the name of Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim, in the name of God, the merciful and the compassionate. How does this relate to climate change? Well, I'd like to, with your permission, with forgiveness for my mistakes, would like to recite a few lines from the chapter called The Merciful, Surah Rahman. I'll recite in the Arabic and I'll give you the English. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وداءها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم. So this course, The Favors of Your Lord, Islam, Climate Change and Hope, will be drawing on the Quran, the Hadith, the writings of Sidi Muhammad al-Jamal, the Islamic Declaration on Climate Change, and other resources. But these few lines say, Ar-Rahman, the universally merciful, Alam al-Quran, taught the Quran. And the Quran is seen as the deep mercy. The Quran gives us the template for who we are as human beings, for what the creation is, for what the plan is from Allah. It embodies the kun that Allah started the whole universe with. Alam al-Quran, it also is the essence of all the holy books. So the universal merciful taught the Quran and created the human being. And understand that the human being, Allah, who speaks through on the prophet, tongue of the prophet. Oh, hopefully folks are still here. Sorry about that. The wonders of the universe. So we were talking about the first few ayah of Surah Rahman. As part of context, we're talking about the course, The Favors of Your Lord, Islam, Climate Change, and Hope. So the universally merciful taught the Quran, created the human being, and taught the human being clear speech. And clear speech, according to Sidi Muhammad al-Jamal, is not just speech, which is, of course, something that only the human being has, but the ability to reason, the ability to make decisions together, the ability to plan, the ability to consider thoughtfully. So the universally merciful gave us those capacities as well. And then it continues, the sun and the moon move according to precise reckoning. And the stars and the trees prostrate themselves. The stars and the trees bow to the complete and perfect ordering of Allah. And Allah has raised up the sky and set the balance so that all of the planets, all of the galaxies, all of the universe are moving in complete coordination like clockwork. The sun rises and sets, the moon rises and sets. The Quran tells us over and over that this is to help us reckon time, to help us know when to plant our crops, to know what the seasons are, to know when the months begin and end, when the days begin and end. It's Allah has raised up the sky and set the balance, and then there's an admonition that you might not transgress the balance. And so weigh with justice, and do not skimp in the balance. Now this is not only with business dealings, and of course with all of these teachings there are 7 different levels of meaning. So there's an initial level of meaning, which is literal. So it says, like, don't, if you're selling something, don't put your finger on the scale and cheat your customer. It's that literal. But it's also saying, don't skimp, don't ignore the balance that Allah has set up in the whole creation. So weigh with justice, do not skim the balance. And the earth Allah set down for all creatures. Not just humans, not just anything in particular, all creatures, all of the created beings. And then it says, in it are fruits and palm trees with sheathed clusters of dates. We all know how sweet and rich and nourishing and full of vitamins and minerals that dates are, how complete a nourishment they are. In are also grain in the blade and fragrant herbs, so all the food that we need. And then the last verse that I read says, which then of the favors of your Lord will you deny? So for me, this is a message that things are created in balance, that are Allah made the earth for all creatures, but in it is nourishment for us. It's for us. We can have it. We can have the nourishment, but to treat the earth in balance, don't skimp, don't disregard the perfect balance that Allah made the creation. Are there any questions or comments? Not sure how to do this on Facebook. You guys are probably Facebook boxing you. Just taking a moment, take that in. And so in this course, we'll go into more, hopefully you're getting a taste of the holiness of the creation and also the holiness of our place in the creation. Food was made for us. It is here for us. We can have it. We are also deeply holy. So much about climate change is very overwhelming. We're talking about the earth warming up, possibly to the point where life will no longer be sustainable. That's overwhelming. We could pull our hair out about how do we get here? How could we be so greedy? How could we be so thoughtless? How could we be so ignorant? But there is a way out, and the way to approach the way out is to come from a deep understanding of our holiness, of who we truly are, of our holiness of the creation. When we go into despair and collapse and overwhelm, it's not a very creative way of thinking. It's understandable, but it's not a creative way of thinking. So one of the things I'd like us to do in this class is to approach our grief and our feelings around climate change, if we have them. Not everyone may be in touch with that. Many of us may be. But healing those from a place of the deep coherence of creation as Allah made it, and the deep holiness of who we are. And then to open to more knowledge and information about the issue. If folks in the class wind up wanting to take direct action, that's fine. But to plunge more deeply into the interbalance of all creation. Any comments or questions so far? I hope you're not getting seasick from my holding the cell phone. I'm really sorry about that. We had to switch from my laptop to a cell phone, and wound up with unexpected results here. I wanted to, just as we wind towards closing for now, I wanted to give us a taste of, do a little exercise together. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that climate change is a love letter from Allah is because the effects of our its effects are an indication of where we're not following what we're given to follow. We are not treating ourselves and the planet and each other in the right way. And what kind of God would there be if we did things that got more and more out of balance and hurt us more and more without noticing? So the floods, the droughts, the tsunamis, the loss of species, the change in the weather patterns, all of these things, as upsetting as they are a message, a reminder that things are set in balance. And Allah, as the merciful and the compassionate, leaves the door open for us to get back into balance. And just to take a moment with who we're created as human beings and how that gives us hope and that we could possibly do something to make a difference. This is again a few lines from the Quran from Surah Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن سبع سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جائل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك دماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم أردهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون صدق الله العظيم. Mistakes are all mine. The Quran isn't perfection. It's Allah who created for you all that is on the earth and regulated the heavens, fashioning 7 heavenly realms, and Allah has knowledge of all things. And when your Lord said to the angels, I shall place upon the earth an emissary, they said, will you place upon it one who will corrupt it and shed blood, while it's we who hymn your praise and sanctify you? He said, truly, I know what you don't know. Allah taught the first human being the names, meaning all of the qualities, the building blocks of creation, taught all of the knowledge, and made them visible before the angels and said, tell me the names of these if you are truthful. They said, glory be to you. We have no knowledge other than what you have taught us. Truly, you are the all-knowing, the all-wise. Allah said, O Adam, tell them their names. And when Adam had told them their names, Allah said, did I not tell you that I alone know the unseen of the heavens and the earth, and that I know what you reveal and what you conceal? So, again, we are given all the knowledge. It's in our hearts. We're the only beings in creation that have all of the knowledge, all the names of Allah in our hearts. We'll be going into why that gets veiled and how to uncover it. And we'll also be going into some of the very practical solutions that Islam has come up with for how to respect the earth. But before we close, just take a moment, if you're willing. Unless there's any questions or comments first, let me just take a moment for that. You're welcome to email me afterward. I think my email is on the Sufi University page. The Favors of Your Lord, Islam, Climate Change, and Hope. The info can be found on SufiUniversity.org. It starts in October. My email is on that info. You can email me, Laila at SufiCenterNortheast.org. But in the meantime, let's just take a moment now with the names Ar-Rahman and Rahim, bringing our attention to the heart, the whole chest area, considering that this really is the repository of the essence, the wisdom of Allah in this creation, and to invoke it, to recite together, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. 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 One of the creation wants to join us. Here's Bella. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Dogs also carry 7 qualities of Allah. All of the creation sings the name and the praises of Allah, carries the qualities of Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. One more. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. We can be tasting how to open to creative solutions by accessing, inshallah, with the will of God, the divine wisdom, peace, and love, and more in our hearts. We can make a difference with Allah's permission. Ameen.